Israel started its invasion into parts of Rafah in early May, and in response, South Africa applied to the International Court of Justice for an urgent injunction to stop the Rafah offensive. The ICJ, also known as the World Court, has agreed with South Africa that the humanitarian situation caused by the offensive in Rafah is now disastrous, that fighting there could cause irreparable harm to Palestinians. So the judges have ruled that Israel has to immediately stop its military action in Rafah.
The court is not convinced that the evacuation efforts and related measures that Israel affirms to have undertaken to enhance the security of civilians in the Gaza Strip, and in particular those recently displaced from the Rafah governorate, are sufficient to alleviate the immense risk to which the Palestinian population is exposed as a result of the military offensive in Rafah.
The decision's been welcomed by supporters of the case, although they have called for the court order to be widened to stop the fighting across the whole of Gaza. And while this ruling is hugely symbolically significant, it is unlikely to change anything on the ground because while the ruling is binding, the court has no enforcement powers. Some Israeli ministers have indicated the country will not comply with the order, and the Prime Minister's office called the accusations made by South Africa false, outrageous and disgusting. If Israel doesn't comply, as is expected, it'll become increasingly isolated on the international stage, and there'll also be pressure on the United States to stop providing weapons to Israel being used in the Rafah invasion. It's also likely that this ruling will soon be proposed as a resolution at the United Nations Security Council, where member states will be expected to pass a ruling that is in line with this ICJ decision.